Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in to today's presentation called Guiding Young Children's Behavior Intervention. This is a follow-up presentation from another video that was released in July called Guiding Young Children's Behavior Prevention. That little video looked at all the ways to set our kids up for success, how to prevent behavior before it starts to take over. This looks at intervention strategies. Okay, so what do we do when our children are struggling, when they feel frustrated? How do we help them through in managing their behavior? My name is Carrie Youdell. I'm a registered early childhood educator with Davenport Perth Early On Child and Family Center, and I'm going to be narrating this video for you today. I just wanted to remind everybody about what influences a child's development. And so for parents and caregivers, this is really important because it helps you set your expectations for your child's behavior. Things that influences a child's development is their age, how old they are, and their life experience up until that age. Their level of understanding, the brain development, the environment that they have at home, how much exposure they have to new activities and new information. These all influence a child's development, and the adults who care for them. So how we nurture them, how we respond to them. Children are learning from the adults in their environment, and all of these things influence a child's development. Other things to remember, 95% of a child's brain continues to grow and develop between the ages of birth to 5. All the experiences they have, children will learn by experimenting, making mistakes, building their words, looking at things for the first time. This is all part of their learning. We as adults need to set our expectations to a child's age. It's really, really important that we understand the development of a child at age 1, age 2, age 3, age 4, and if we take the time to learn this, we offer the right guidance strategies for their age. There are lots of wonderful resources online. Parents can do lots of research to figure out what's happening with each stage of brain development, which helps set us up for success and our children up for success. We're a child's first teacher, the first point of contact in life, and we want them to be confident, competent problem solvers. Today we're going to look at 10 intervention strategies. So intervention strategies is, okay, the behavior is happening. What are some ways for us to support them as adults? The first intervention strategy is called getting down to the child's level, getting attention respectfully. And the reason it's important to try to get attention respectfully is because we don't want our children to learn to shout and argue. So one of the strategies is to get down to their level. So if your child is struggling, make eye contact, kneel down if you can. When possible, connect with them. Use a calm tone and explain the behavior you want your child to learn. Examples or statements that you can use is, your child's frustrated, they're playing with a friend and they take a toy. You could say, do not use your hands to take your friend's toy. Use your words or come and get help. If your child struggles with language, role model the behavior and redirect. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in a few slides. The second intervention strategy is to use touch. If you notice your child starts to struggle, you notice that they're going to get into a frustrated moment, move close to your child. Put your arm around the child. Sometimes this could calm your child down just enough and serve as the only intervention that's needed. Then you have a chance to talk with the child and connect. It also helps if a child bites or hits or has difficulty directing themselves, and this is very typical of children who are just developing language skills. It's easier to move them away if they need to be picked up for their own safety. Sometimes a simple touch is the only intervention strategy needed. Reminders. Use simple, positive reminders to set up limits and rules. Sometimes we give children too many rules, but reminders just helps us set their limits. Toddlers and preschoolers have short attention spans and can become easily distracted. So for example, your child's playing in the playground. You notice they're starting to throw the sand. A simple reminder is, sand stays on the ground, please. They're riding a tricycle. You remind them, bikes stay on the paths. Holding hands crossing the street keeps you safe. These are simple ways to set up limits and rules. Another thing is that if the child is not capable of following those limits and rules, you can use statements like, if we can't follow the rules, we'll have to find another activity that keeps us safe. This is an intervention. Acknowledge feelings when you're limit setting. And so what that means is acknowledging a child's feelings when they're struggling with behavior can sometimes really reduce their negative response. They feel understood and they will learn to build empathy. So sometimes just acknowledging, hey, you're angry, but we need to find another way, is just enough to calm the child down. So for example, statements you can use, again, is you look angry. Let's talk. But I cannot let you hit your friend. You need to use gentle hands, would be an example. Another one is, it's really hard to wait your turn, but the rule is that we wait in line for the slide. These are examples of acknowledging feelings when limit setting. And sometimes it's just enough. Providing appropriate choices. Adults can offer a simple choice when limit setting. So for example, hey, we need to go outside. Would you like to wear your boots or your shoes? Hey, we need to wait for our turn in line. Do you want to wait or would you like to do something else? Providing appropriate choices, they're age appropriate. When you know that there's no choice for the child, this is one of the best strategies, is giving them choice within that limit. Using logical or natural consequences. Natural consequences explain the outcome of a behavior. So, for example, when you don't put your toys away, it'll be hard for us to find them later. This is a natural consequence. It shows how their behavior has a direct impact on the outcome. Logical consequences actually explains a problem for a child and gives them a solution. So for example, I see you spilled your cereal on the floor. Here is a broom to help sweep it up. Let's help. There's two different ways to use logical and natural consequences, and these are some examples. Limit the use of toys and equipment. Sometimes children can become overwhelmed when using toys and equipment that are not age appropriate or simply more difficult for them to manage. An example of that is your child's playing with a big piano and you notice that they're starting to get rough. You could say a statement like, since you're having a hard time playing the piano gently, we need to close it so it doesn't break and we'll use it again later. Or you notice your child's having a very difficult time in a playground, they're not using a climber properly. You could say to them a statement like, the climber is off limits now because you're not using it safely and we can try again later. Using this strategy, use the strategy sparingly and only when other strategies are not working and it's unsafe. Sometimes having to remove the object or take them away and explain that they can access it later is a strategy that you can use to get them to understand their limits. Modeling problem-solving skills. It's normal for children to frustrate when they have trouble coping. Adults can model problem-solving skills in 3 easy steps. These skills are important in building resilience for children. The first step is 1, to acknowledge the child's problem. Simply telling them, hey, your friend is using your bike and you want to use it. 2, state a solution. Can you go tell your friend that you'd like to use the bike when they are finished? We need to wait. And 3, when a problem is resolved, summarize the outcome. You waited patiently. Now it's your turn. Remember, next time you want to use the bike, ask for a turn, and you did such a good job waiting. Modeling problem solving is extremely important for building resiliency in children. It builds up their capacity to understand that there's going to be a solution, and it gives them some choices and how they can manage frustration. Provide children with a chance to recover. Instead of demanding an apology, which is sometimes a little bit, unrealistic, adults should offer children the chance to help with an incident that actually hurt or caused harm. This helps children support relationship building and empathy. So an example of that is, your child hurt a friend, and this friend is sad. One of the statements you can say is, can you help your friend who is sad? Please get them a tissue, and maybe you can sit beside your friend until they feel better. This helps build empathy. Another example is, she doesn't feel like playing right now. She's upset. So let's give her some time to be alone. We want to build skills in children where they have a chance to recover and actually demonstrate and show relationship building and empathy. And number 10, one of the best interventions is for us to take a moment before we act. Remember, children can frustrate us. We spend a lot of time alone with our children. Do your best to remain calm. Always think about your reaction and your response before you jump in. And remember to take a time out for yourself, because this is one of the hardest jobs, guiding children's behavior. Remember that you're a child's first teacher. The first line of prevention is to role model the behavior you want your children to observe and learn. Remember to use the words and gestures you'd like your children to use. Mistakes and behaviors are always learning opportunities. They're never opportunities for punishment. Use them as teaching tools to build confidence. If you find yourself really struggling with your child's behavior, talk with professionals, early childhood educators. If you're having a hard time coping, remember there's lots of help out there. So a quick review of intervention strategies is remember to keep rules simple and easy to understand. Use reminders. Focus on what you want your children to do and teach it. We tend to focus a lot on the negative, but focus on the positive. Catch them in the moments where they're doing the right thing. Give clear and simple choices. Toddlers and preschoolers have very short attention spans. Remember to show respect. If we show respect, children will give it back. Encourage. Encouraging children helps them to become confident. Help children to problem solve, giving them those 3 steps and summarizing and explaining to them their solutions helps with building resilience. Give them support and opportunities to correct themselves, and redirect them when they're overwhelmed. This is one of my favorite, especially for toddlers. Role model and set a good example. We encourage you to practice as many of these guidance and intervention tips as possible. If you have any questions, please contact any of our staff at the Davenport Perth Early On Child and Family Centre. This information came from the Government of BC. I've added this link for you, so if you're interested in clicking on this link and actually reading the entire document, it's there for your support. Thank you, everybody, and have a good day.